Very excited. Debut of the show. Jeff Glass from Rockford IceHogs. How you doing today, buddy?
Good. Thanks for having me in.
So I figured we'll play a little, get to know Jeff and that since it's your first time on today. Goalie for the Rockford IceHogs. So, I know in the world of hockey, nicknames are huge. What would be your nickname then?
Yeah, well, I just go with Glasser. There's nothing
fancy?
Nothing too fancy about that. The guys, it's kind of that international hockey code. You could add an ER or an S to most last names, and that's how you come up with most nicknames. So I got the standard Glasser, and that's how I go with the rink.
So do you know anything about the history of the nicknames in hockey and how it started or anything? Or is it just something that you show up for a team and you got the nickname?
Yeah, it's funny. You can walk into almost any room anywhere in the world, and you can give a guy a nickname, and everybody knows what that nickname is. I can't tell you how many guys I've played, how many Soupies I've played with because their last name was Campbell, and just the standard nicknames right across the board. But you walk into a room and it seems to be standard language for everybody, so we have fun with it, and that's how guys are known.
So if you go to a different team, the nickname is... it's transferable. It's everybody has basically the same system for it, and same with warm-ups too, isn't it? The same basically for every team.
100%. It's the international warm-up, and you know almost based on what time's on the clock what you're doing. So it's really funny. I've played on a few teams now, and it doesn't change from team to team. The warm-ups, the nicknames are the same. It's eerily similar how all the teams are very much the same, and you show up to the rink, and it's really just the same thing, same scene, different arena.
And you got the Canadian guys over here, the American guys over here, the European guys over here, and you guys are just, you all get along and you play a game.
Yeah, the international language of hockey, I guess, is what we always say. Is we all share one thing in common, and that's the game. And it doesn't matter where you're from. We always laugh about that. You get to know guys real quick, and you actually I really enjoy getting to know some of the guys from different parts of the world, and maybe what they enjoy and what brings them to the rink, or why they got into the game, and then we all get together and try to pull the rope in the same direction.
I'm talking to Jeff Glass, the goalie for the Rockford IceHogs. So let's find out a little bit about you. You don't sound like you're from around here.
No, not quite. No, but I'm not from far, I guess. I'm from Calgary, Alberta, in Canada. Okay. Grew up there, born and raised there. Was drafted by the Ottawa Senators. So I played 4 years of pro in Binghamton, New York. And then I went overseas to Russia for 7 years. So I played 7 years in the KHL in Russia, and then came back last year and started with the Toronto Marlies, and joined the Rockford IceHogs here just after Christmas. And it's been great ever since I've been here. I've thoroughly enjoyed my time here, and it's been one of those experiences. Hockey's never a straight line, or it's never an easy path, and mine's that exact story. So I couldn't tell you how I ended up here, but I've ended up here, and I really enjoy being here now.
Now let's back it up a little bit. Calgary, this time of year, is it already 0 degrees there?
No, way worse. Yeah, we got updates. There's a foot of snow on the ground, and they're buried in winter already. So my in-laws are looking after our dog right now. We just had a little girl, so he's showing me pictures of them out walking the dog and feet of snow, and I'm not ready for that yet.
What do you have, a month of summer?
Yeah, well, a little more than that, but sometimes it feels like you ask people back home and they'll tell you it's a month, but no, it's cold there now, and it's the dead of winter, and it is what it is.
So, dog, what kind of dog do you got?
I have a Bernese Mountain Dog.
Okay.
His name's Moose.
Moose. Now, will you usually bring Moose with you?
Moose will make an appearance here. He's always with us. Yeah, he actually even came with us overseas to Russia. So he's well-traveled, Moose. He knows the drill, but this he's going to have to take a back seat to the little girl now, so his nose will be a little out of joint, but that's fine. He'll join the team here probably after Christmas.
So how do you think Moose will take to the new little girl?
Well, let's hope he takes her okay, because I think he's a little bigger than her. So I hope we don't have to put the two of them in a ring and figure it out. But no, Moose will be fine with her. He's pretty good with kids.
Congratulations, by the way. Brand new baby. Was it last week or the week before?
She's 12 days old now, so this is a couple weeks old, and getting the hang of parenting now.
Does that put a little crimp on the nap time? Because I know hockey players, they like naps. Yeah, I do too. I agree.
Yeah, naps are important. So thank goodness I got a supportive wife that helps me out, because I don't know if I could do it by myself, but she's been great, and we've been able to do it all. I've still got the odd nap in, which is nice, but they're not as on schedule as they used to be.
Now, were you an early riser already, or were you a guy that liked to sleep in till the minute you have to leave for the rink?
No, I like to get up in the mornings. I've always been a morning guy, and I think that drives my wife's nuts. But now at least I have a reason to get up because there's something going on. But no, I like in the summertime. I like to do my workouts bright and early. I've always been a morning person. I think I can get more done in the morning. But yeah, so this hasn't changed that part too much. I think it's more in the middle of the night. I'm not used to the 2 a.m., the 4 a.m., the 6 a.m. kind of wake up call. But
now, have you been helping out with that?
I always try to do my best, but I'm not going to try to take too much credit here. She's been doing the majority of that.
Right.
So, no, I'm trying to be helpful where I can, but...
and when you're in town, because,
Yeah.
I mean, when you guys are gone quite a bit, too.
Well, and that's it, too. The team was great. They let me stay back for, obviously, the birth and whatnot. And now is the real, like you said, kind of real life kicks in where, you go on maybe a couple day-long road trips or week-long road trip, and now she's on her own to figure it out. So I try to help out while I'm around, and then when I get on the road, I can catch up on my beauty sleep.
Talking to Jeff Glass, the goaltender for the Rockford IceHogs. I remember I went away for a few days for a work thing, and my daughter was really little, and when I walked in the door, she was handed to me. You can expect some of that, I bet.
I'm expecting that very much. We laugh about the Heisman football handoff, so there might be a little bit of that.
It's Double T's special guest, Rockford IceHogs goalie Jeff Glass. So you're going to be joining me each week, unless you have a game, obviously. So doing a little get to know you today. So you had mentioned that you played in Russia, 7 years in Russia.
Yeah, 7 years in Russia. So it was quite the experience. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I got nothing but good things to say about my time over there. Now, there was obviously a few fun stories that come along with living in Russia for 7 years, but
right.
It was good to me. It was a learning experience. It was a great chance for me to travel the world and see a bunch of different places, and happy to say that I was able to play there for that long. What
made you go to Russia in the first place? Just opportunity, or was it something you had thought about?
No, absolutely not. I was coming off, like I said, 4 years with Binghamton and Ottawa's system, and I was a free agent, so I wasn't sure what I was going to do, and a bunch of different opportunities presented themselves, and it was actually a one-year deal in Russia to go over and just try something different, and the league was brand new at the time, so I thought, well, what the heck, 1 year and I'll come back and start it over again fresh, maybe clean the slate. Went over, got another 1 year, another 1 year. Next thing you know, I'm there for 7 years. So it was never ever planned. That wasn't part of the big scheme. And like I said, hockey's kind of funny how it takes you in a different path. And for whatever reason, I ended up there for 7 years. But a couple years ago, I decided I wanted to come back and give this another try. I didn't really feel like I gave it a fair shake before I left. I kind of left. Not very many 23-year-olds head over to Russia for 7 years. So
right, that's usually something you do a little bit later on, right?
Absolutely, it's kind of did a reverse. Most people finish their careers over there, not start them. So for me, it was a little bit of a reversal, but I enjoyed my time there. Like I said, the league's awesome. The hockey's first class. So that was my favorite part about being over there. And then I did a lot of growing up as well, because you had to fend for yourself over there in Russia, and it was really good for my development.
So the hockey, you go into a hockey room, you're fine because you guys all are kind of cut from the same cloth, and you get along. But then you have the time away from hockey. What is it like being a Canadian kid in Russia? It's got to be awkward.
Yeah, you nailed it there. Going to the rink was your safe haven. It was your little. It was my home for me. I loved being at the rink because we all spoke the same language. We were all trying to win, and that's all we wanted to do when we got to the rink. And when I stepped outside the rink, that's when it got really fun, because now you had to worry about how you're going to get home and how you're going to get groceries and how you're going to do all those different things, not speaking the language. But my first couple of years there, I had a great support group. There was a bunch of imports that were Canadian and American guys that had been on that specific team for a couple of years. So they were able to show me where to go, the do's and the don'ts. And then you pick up a few words in Russian, and then you start to feel a little bit braver. And
what is the Russian word for beer?
Yeah, I learned that right off the bat. Right, like you wanted beer, you needed that, and you needed a
bathroom, beer.
Yeah, so those were the emergency words, and you learn your emergency Russian, and then you start to get brave and venture out on your own. And as the years went, it became easier and easier. But the first couple of years, a little bit of a culture shock.
So you go to Russia, and you've got teammates there to help you. I'm talking to Jeff Glass from the Rockford IceHogs. And your wife comes with you?
Yeah, she came over every year, and she was able to do her thing over there. We have a small business back home, so she was able to help support that business over there, and we both kind of made Russia work. It was we obviously didn't have kids, and so it was that's a lot easier traveling with little ones. We've seen that over there, and that can be difficult. So that was kind of our excuse for being able to make it work, was we didn't have any little ones tagging along. So the two of us loved it over there, and like I said, it gave us a great chance when we were over there to travel the world and not just see Russia, but we got to go to Europe and all sorts of cool places over there.
It's like going from Calgary to Edmonton to Toronto, but you're going to, Germany and Spain and all the other countries.
Yeah, you nailed it. So our favorite stories are from Barcelona and Prague and Paris and those kind of places, because when we got time off, it was an hour flight, and it was dirt cheap, and you'd go do that for a couple of days. And so that was probably even our, a big part of playing in Russia was the stuff we got to do outside of Russia while we were on that side of the world.
What do you eat when you're in Russia?
Yeah. Well, you just eat. You eat to get by, right? You don't eat for taste. You eat for nutrition. And
right.
Yeah, there was a few interesting meals over there. I remember my first year we had I actually played in Kazakhstan my first year over there, and part of the Russian league, the old Soviet, and we had a national holiday, so they served us horse, and I wasn't sure how to take the horse, but that was the meal that was being served, so that was how it went.
Well, you got to do what you got to do. I got a friend that's a basketball coach. He does a lot of stuff overseas, and he eats a lot of fruits and vegetables when he's in other countries.
Yeah, well, I think we were chip connoisseurs, but the first couple of years over there wasn't a bag of Lay's that we didn't have in the house.
Jeff Glass, the goalie for the Rockford IceHogs, stopping by. So, were you always a goalie growing up? Is that something that the position you wanted to play as a kid?
Yeah, I loved being a goalie. It was, for whatever reason, if it was the gear or getting to play on the ice the whole time, I don't know what it was. But looking back now, we had to play all the positions, which I really appreciate. I learned how to skate, learned how to play forward and defense, and then I think I was 8 or 9 years old, they made you kind of pick a position or choose a position for the season. So I picked goalie then, and I've loved it. It's been something I do have a passion for. I really enjoy the position and the knowledge and how it's ever evolving, and you constantly trying to change your game. So it's really fun to me.
And they always do things to you guys, like change the pads and change the rules and to make it a little bit difficult.
Yeah, and that's the way the game is going, generally speaking. I think we've become, with the technology the way it is, the way we watch video, the way we practice, the way everything's done now, it's a science, and everybody knows and is trying to get an edge in whichever way they can. Like you said, they're trying to cut the rules on the goalies or make more goals, and we're trying to beat the system. That's my job, is to stop the puck. So I'm trying to do whatever I can to get in front of it, if it means changing the way I play or changing the way I train or changing the way maybe I think. I'm always trying to stay ahead of it, and that's what keeps me in the game.
How old were you when you started playing hockey?
Oh man, I'm from Canada, right? So we learned to skate at 4 and play hockey at 4.5 or 5 was probably when I started to play hockey for, we call it Timbits hockey. What do you guys have, like the donut holes? Those are called Timbits. So we call it Timbit hockey in Canada, and that was when I was 4 or 5 years old, probably.
Wow. And do you have any brothers or sisters?
I do. I have 2 younger brothers. They're both hockey players as well growing up. My middle brother, he played pro. He played for Hartford in the New York system, and then ran into concussion problems and knee problems, and basically everything kind of broke down on him. So both of them are out of hockey now, but they both grew up playing it as well. Now,
at what point did you kind of figure out, all right, I'm all right at this, I can keep doing it, and maybe I can make a career out of it?
Honestly, it was never, it never came to me like that. It was probably in junior hockey when I thought, wow, I've seen my friends kind of get drafted to the NHL, and if I keep doing what I'm doing, maybe I could get drafted. But not before then. I was always just something fun I loved doing, and I'm a competitive guy that enjoyed playing and competing. It was something fun to do. But I only started really taking it seriously in probably junior hockey when I made the team, and I realized that there's a little more pressure on those games now, and people's jobs are on the line, and you move away from home to play it. So there's a little bit more riding on it now. And if you take it serious, I really did want to play in the NHL, but I don't think it really became what it is now until I was probably in junior hockey.
What do you like to do besides playing hockey?
Oh, well, I like my downtime now. We're talking about having a kid. It's nice to sit around and do a lot of nothing. But I'm a sports fan, so I love watching sports, and being around sports any way I can. I'm always, the TV's always on sports at home, and if I'm not following a game, I'm following a team. So that's kind of my passion, but I don't know. Other than that, it's like I said, it's downtime away from the rink. It's nice to do a whole lot of nothing.
What sports do you like besides hockey?
Football.
Football?
Football. I love
NFL?
football. NFL. Yeah, I can't get into college because I never went to college, so
Okay.
I don't understand the Big Ten. I don't understand. I don't. None of that makes sense to me.
What about the Canadian Football League?
No, that's not even real football. So
Who's your team then? Who do you like?
in the Canadian football?
No, in
league?
NFL.
In the NFL, well, it's going to get a big won't, but I'm a New England Patriots fan.
Of course you are.
Of course, I'm Tom Brady fan.
I was going to call that. You can't help, but Tom Brady's awesome. You know, it's
Tom Brady's the man. So I'm a fan of the Patriots because of Tom Brady, but yeah, no, I'm that guy.
Well, thank you so much for coming by today. I look forward to having you on this season and having some fun. And we'll talk a little bit hockey, but we'll talk other stuff.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate you having me on, and look forward to get to know you and sharing some good stories here.